Hello, everybody, and welcome to a video I'm very excited to make. It is my official 2026 NFL mock draft. So Curtis and I are actually making the trip down to Pittsburgh tomorrow to attend the draft in person. So we're super excited. This draft, more than any other in recent year, that we're kind of dialed in, and we feel connected to the draft because we know for a while that we've planned to be there. So super excited. Here's my mock draft. I'm not going to include any trades. Obviously, there's going to be trades. It's just kind of hard to predict who's going to make these moves. Obviously, rumors have kind of been swirling. But again, yeah, I can't predict any trades. Obviously, there's going to be some, but I'm just going to go based on the current board that we have now. So getting into it with the first pick, don't really need to talk about this one much. Fernando Mendoza is going to be a Las Vegas Raider. I feel like that's been a foregone conclusion for quite some time. Maybe even since he won the national championship, he kind of stamped that in. But yeah, just the best quarterback in the class, and it's a valuable position. If it was a positionless sport, does he go first? Probably not, but that's just the way the NFL works. And yeah, the Raiders get hopefully their future guy there at number one. And yeah, here's where the draft becomes interesting. Number two, we don't know what's going to kind of happen after this. So it's kind of between two guys, I think, right now. Arvell Reese and David Bailey, two defensive players. There's obviously not a second quarterback, although I'm toying around with the thought of what if Ty Simpson goes like way earlier than we expect him to go. I remember there were rumors last year that Jackson Dart was maybe getting some buzz to like the Saints at their pick. Didn't end up happening, but he still went in the first round. But no, I don't think it's going to be Ty Simpson here for the Jets. They have a later pick this first round, so maybe they do it then. But I'm gonna have them going Arvell Reese, the linebacker, out of Ohio State. Just one of the best defensive players in this draft. Played at Ohio State, obviously great football school, and it just starts to build something in there for new coach Aaron Glenn in his second year, but start to build that defense, and that's kind of what his calling card is. He's been known for his defensive mind. Here, Arizona, this is where I see possibly a trade down spot because I'm going to have them going Francis Mauigoa, the tackle out of Miami, but I don't feel super confident with them wanting to take that at 3. Maybe they think they can get him a little bit later in the draft. So I don't know. I'm not going to have any trades, but I see that as a trade down spot for sure. Yeah, just starting to build that O line. We know next year they're probably going to take a quarterback in the draft unless, I don't know, they go Ty Simpson in the second round or someone else in the second round or later this draft and they prove to be kind of the future, but I don't think Jacoby Brissett is going to be there much longer than this year. And yeah, so start to build that O line for the future quarterback to come in. I think it's a smart pick here. A little bit boring. Picking a tackle is always going to kind of be boring when there's guys like Jeremiah Love available, but I don't know. I think it's the right pick for them there. Now, the Titans, do they go Love? They have Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard still. And I don't know. Something tells me that it's too obvious that they're going to go Love here. It says here on PFF, number one need, running back, when I don't really agree with that. I don't think they're going to be really good again unless that defense improves. You got Jeffrey Simmons and really not a whole lot else. So I think getting a guy here like David Bailey, who was maybe going to go second overall, is really going to improve this Titans defense. And then here's where I have Jeremiah Love going to the Giants at number 5. They took Cam Scattaboo, they took Tyrone Tracy, but Love is just a game changer in ways that those guys aren't. And yeah, I think it's hard to predict or to picture him falling out of the top 5 with how much buzz he's generated leading into this draft and just the prospect that he is. He's going to be a super exciting player in the NFL for years to come, and I think the Giants like that. And them getting the 10th overall pick in that Dexter Lawrence trade allows them to make a move like that to take a running back early. And yeah, they're not sold on any of the defensive guys here, although I don't know. I quite like the defense here. some of the guys here like Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. Really, Cardinal Tate, not a defensive guy, but really strong Ohio State class here. Speaking of Cardinal Tate, I'm going to have him going at 6 to the Cleveland Browns. I just think, I don't know, they don't really have that X factor on offense. Quinshon Judkins, not a receiver, but he was excellent last year. Got hurt. Jerry Jeudy just not really that alpha, and I think Cardinal Tate they're going to take him to hopefully be that. In-state, Ohio State moving to Cleveland, not very far. So yeah, I think that's a really, really solid trade for them, and they're going to be happy with getting them here. And now that leads to another Ohio State player, Sonny Styles, going 7th overall to the Commanders. I just think I'm not sure if Bobby Wagner retired. He's close to that age anyways, and it feels like a Dan Quinn pick. Just get that linebacker, that quarterback of the defense, and Sonny Styles can be just that. And I think when you have Jaden Daniels, the offensive side of the ball is kind of, you're not worried. He's excellent. They paid Terry already, so can't really see them going receiver here. They have other pieces, maybe receiver later in the draft, just not right now. And I will have the Saints going receiver, however. And this guy's kind of generated a ton of buzz, more so towards the draft. A lot of injury concerns with him a few months ago, but just one of those players where you don't want him to turn out not really have that much injury concern in the NFL, and you're like, why didn't we just take that guy? Like, why did we let our concern about a little bit of an injury prevent us from taking one of the better players in this draft? And that's not biased at all. I'm an Arizona State football fan, football, basketball. I'm a Sun Devil fan in general. So I've seen Tyson firsthand. This guy makes plays and just is an incredible receiver. And I see him going in the top 10 and to New Orleans at number 8. And Chiefs going to be a little disappointed with that because I think they would have gone him at 9. And in the real draft, I think that can definitely happen. But they're just going to kind of, cut their losses and take who they think the best available player is here, Reuben Bain Jr. They didn't get a ton of sacks last year. Most of their pressure is generated from within with Chris Jones on the inside. But, Karlaftis, bit of a disappointing season after they paid him. They're going to get Reuben Bain here, and just another guy who can, maybe not every down, but, when he's called upon, make that play, get to the quarterback, and yeah, you can never have enough of those guys. And so here, the Giants, I'm going to have them going Caleb Downs. Getting 2 of the most excited players. I could see New York Giants fans thinking immediately that they've won the draft. They got Love, they got Downs. Oh my goodness, it's going to change their offense. It's going to change their defense. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. But yeah, I think Caleb Downs and Love are 2 very exciting players. And by making that Dexter Lawrence trade, you're able to get an elite player on each side of the ball and just kind of stick and pick who you think maybe are the best players available at their spots. So I like that pick. Number 10, Caleb Downs here. I had mocked him to Cincinnati in some of my mock drafts that I did on my own. But yeah, I guess they want to win now and they want to get that proven player rather than waiting on someone to develop, even though I think Caleb Downs can step in and just be an impact player immediately. Spencer Fano, I could see him going in the top 10 if one of these teams, I could see him going 6 to the Browns, 5 to the Giants if one of these teams just realizes it's a great position to have kind of figured out. But Miami's going to not let him slip any further. They are years away from being competitive in this rebuild. So just kind of take your best player available. And I think the first thing that you should build when you're starting a rebuild is that O-line, because without a competent O-line, you can't really have a competent offense. It's really difficult, at least. And that leaves the Cowboys here at number 12. I think they're going to go Mansour Delane. And I promise I'm not just picking the top player. It just so happens to be who I think kind of fits them right now. They have pick 20 as well with the Micah Parsons trade. Kind of really lucked out for them when that trade happened. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be pick 20. People thought it was going to be, in this range, 28 to 32. But, 2 top 20 picks, good for Dallas. And they're only a few pieces away from being kind of a real threat to contend in the NFC. I think the offense is completely figured out. So probably looking for them to go double defense here. But yeah, the Rams here, they kind of luck out from this James Pierce Jr. trade last year. Sorry, Falcons fans, look away. But yeah, I'm going to have them going Makai Lemon from USC, not moving very far. They need a plan for after Devontae Adams is gone, and Lemon and Puka Nakua as your two receivers for the next, 10 years is just a great recipe for a successful offense. They're going to have to figure out the Matt Stafford replacement later down the road. Maybe even they go Ty Simpson in this draft if he falls to them. I was kind of mocking that before they traded that 29th pick for Trent McDuffie. But yeah, I really like them getting Makai Lemon there. And these receivers, I don't know. I like these spots so far, but they could really go anywhere. Kind of sometimes you just don't expect a team to take a receiver that takes a receiver, and it's like, yeah, you know, that guy's gonna be good. Like last year, like nobody really thought the Buccaneers needed another receiver, but they get Egbuka and it's paid off. Here, the Ravens, I don't know where to go with this pick at all, to be honest. Kind of making it on the fly. Like other spots, I feel good about who I'm picking. But with the Ravens here, I think they really wanted Max Crosby. Didn't get him, got Trey Hendrickson instead. They keep their picks. Kind of want to have them staying on the defensive side of the ball just because, yeah, you have Lamar Jackson. He's going to make plays. You have Derrick Henry. So the offense kind of has enough going for it. Maybe receiver is a spot here. I could see them taking one of these three I've already taken, should they slide. I don't really see them reaching for an Omar Cooper or Boston or KC Concepcion. Not that it would be a total reach, but I just don't see it happening. And I see them making a boring pick, just going guard here. They lost Tyler Linderbaum. No, I can't think of his name, but there was a tormented Fialele or something like that, tormented guard for the Ravens last year. I think he signed with the Giants. He, among a lot of other Ravens, went to New York with John Harbaugh. But yeah, you got to start building that O line a little bit more. Kind of wanted to take the defensive side of the ball because of Jesse Minter, the new head coach, defensive guy. But I think they have enough pieces there as is that this pick they can kind of just go team need and get a guy on the interior O line. This is a potential Kenyon Sadiq spot. Like I said, they are potentially a contender to take him again. Egbuka, we didn't see them taking another skill guy. They lost Mike Evans, so they're going to need receiving threats. Although Egbuka and Chris Godwin, can do their thing as is. The receiver room is super deep. I kind of struggled to make this pick, but I see them wanting to go out on the edge and get an edge rusher. Akeem Mazador a little bit too old for this pick, I think. So I'm gonna have them going Keldrick Falk here out of Auburn. Just a good, solid player, had a good career at Auburn, and can make an impact. They lost Levante David, so I could see them maybe going a CJ Allen as well. Try to just immediately replace that linebacker, that hole on the defense, but who knows? And you know what? Maybe this doesn't happen, but I'm going to do it just to make things super interesting. Ty Simpson, number 16 to the New York Jets. Unlike a team like, I don't know, Pittsburgh, not that Will Howard's a great quarterback or a great example. I think Will Howard keeps a team like Pittsburgh from taking Ty Simpson because, yeah, they kind of have another project potential quarterback. But who do the Jets really have? They have Justin Fields. They brought in Geno Smith. Yeah, and I just see them making this exciting move and taking a quarterback who might not be a first round talent earlier than people expect him to go. So Ty Simpson, 16. Kind of a crazy pick, but I'm going to stick with it. And another team who, well, not another team. They are very far from the Jets in terms of their outlook. They kind of just need to take a guy that is going to step in and be a day one guy. My bad. And I'm going to have Monroe Freeling be a tackle out of Georgia. Just, again, Georgia, great school. Can trust those guys kind of stepping in to understand a little bit of a pro more than other schools. And I don't know. I like that pick for them. I think he steps in and is a day one starter on the opposite side of oh my goodness, on the opposite side of Penei Sewell. So just build that O line, build it for Gibbs. And they've lost some guys to retirement, and it really hurt them last season not having their strong O line that we're used to seeing them having. Here we go. Dylan Thieneman. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I have him going to Minnesota. It just feels right. And I'm not just saying that because it's a white safety and Harrison Smith is probably on his way out. I don't know. It's just another one of those picks that feels right. He's the 11th ranked guy on PFF's board, so slipping a little bit, but safety is kind of a position that can slip in the draft. And I just see Minnesota wanting to bolster that secondary. And again, I promise I'm not just going the top guy on the board, but I really see the Panthers taking Kenyon Sadiq. Curtis has been doing Panthers mock drafts for months now, and Sadiq's been a popular pick for him at 19, and I really like that for them. I think it's going to be a great weapon to pair with Tedero McMillan, and Bryce Young, give him another weapon. Jalen Coker kind of had his coming out game in the playoff last year against the Rams, but yeah, they still need another piece, and they kind of have a loaded tight end room, but nobody's like an actually good, great tight end that's going to play 80% of reps. They kind of share the room there. Tommy Tremble and uh, Mitchell Evans, something like that. Let me just double check, even though this isn't really important. Yes, Mitchell Evans. Just sorry, I didn't want Curtis to be like, you didn't remember Mitchell Evans? Yeah, that's the guy I'm gonna go there. And here we have the Cowboys once again. I'm gonna have them taking CJ Allen, just another defensive kind of quarterback. I view linebackers the defensive quarterback. They're kind of the guy that, if they see a shift in the formation, it's up to them to get everybody set. So getting CJ Allen, getting Mansour Delane is just two phenomenal additions to this defense and can maybe change it overnight. They're bringing in a new defensive coordinator. I like that move. So yeah, I really like that move for them. Here we have the Steelers on the clock, and I'm going to have them going with Blake Miller, the tackle out of Clemson. Boring pick for the host city. Not that I want to say that influences things, but it definitely does. Like, the team who's hosting the draft wants to make an exciting pick for the fans that are in attendance. Like last year, not that Matthew Golden wasn't projected to go in the first round, but the Packers taking Matthew Golden, for example. But Blake Miller, I don't know. Hopefully, fans are going to trust that that's the right play. And again, a team that's kind of a couple years away. Like, not that they're entering the rebuild, even though I think they should, but first thing you should build is the O-line. And that's kind of been something that's a little bit weak for the Steelers for quite a while. So they go Blake Miller there at 21. Now here the Chargers, kind of a weird spot. Like, they could go receiver, even though they kind of have guys. They could go O-line. That was something that really hurt them. Although, who are the current interior O lines? I don't know. Like, do I want to take that? Taking Rutledge, who's projected to go late second according to this mock, kind of can't sell myself on that. Yeah, just kind of looking up and down the board, potential trade back spot. But I'm gonna have them going Caden McDonald from Ohio State. Just shore up that defensive line. Not that it needs any shoring up, but Jesse Minter leaving, you got to prove that it's the personnel more than who the coach is calling plays there. Next, we have the Eagles at 23. I'm going to have them going Caden Proctor here. Just an athletic freak tackle. He made some catches for for Alabama. They used him as like a weird receiver in some sets, but if he catches that ball and gets going, who's going to take him down? Surely not a small cornerback. But yeah, I think the Eagles, their O-line has kind of been trending backwards, and they want to get it back on the right track. Maybe a little bit more of a project. He's a little more raw than other tackles. Otherwise, I could see him going 17 to the lines, but I see him slipping a bit, just a little bit raw. But he ends up going here to the Eagles, which is a great spot to end up if you were an O-lineman. Another O-lineman here, I'm going to have the Browns going the other Utah Ute, Caleb Lomu. They don't get Fanu. They go with Carnell Tate. And yeah, I have them going him at 24. Now we have the Bears here, and this is where I feel like Emmanuel McNear-Warren is going to end up, just out of Toledo, smaller school, but he makes plays, and they lost Brisker, I believe, to the Steelers. He went there, so they're going to need to replace that. And yeah, I think a great landing spot for him there. Jermod McCoy, it's hard to see him falling this far in the draft and the Bills not going him. And maybe it's not a position of need. Uh, Debatably, like on paper, maybe it's fine, but I'm going to have them going in here. I just can't see him getting past the Bills, even though they went Maxwell Harrison last year. They have Christian Benford, but you need cornerback depth to win in this league. It's no question. So I like that. With the DJ Moore trade, absolutely don't see them taking a receiver at all. Probably should have had a little more receivers mocked in this first round. But yeah, that's kind of just the way that things fall. Um, Here we have the San Francisco 49ers. They get Mike Evans, so the offense, I don't think they're going to go on that side of the ball. And they went edge rusher last year with Michael Williams. He got hurt, but he was playing all right. I think they just double down and get a guy like Cassius Howell, which is a very exciting pick for them. The Texans, I think things are coming back for them a little bit. They have hopefully Tank Dell's back, so not as much of a concern on that end. So I'm going to have them, even though defense is great and not a, worry for them, just building and adding to it. And I don't think that's a bad idea at all. And I have them going Caleb Banks there at 28. Now the Chiefs fall into this dream scenario here where they go Ruben Bain at 9, and then receivers kind of don't go where we expect them to. It was just kind of a slow non-receiver draft. And I don't know, deciding between Omar Cooper Jr. and Casey Concepcion, I think I'm going to have, just because they are Kansas City, them going Casey Concepcion here at 29, just a receiver to add to, Patrick Mahomes' potential targets. Kelsey, he won't be around forever. Maybe not even Rashee Rice either. Xavier Worthy is more of a gadget guy than a number one receiver. And yeah, they're going to take Concepcion here, and hopefully, he's the guy. Now, I had the Dolphins going tackle at their last pick, and I'm going to have them going corner here and taking Avion Terrell, brother of Terrell, AJ Terrell, who's in Atlanta. So runs in the family, and yeah, he ends up there. So they get a tackle and a corner to start this new rebuild. I really like it for them. And then yeah, the Patriots 31. Who would have thought that they would have been here at 31, making their first pick of the draft? Certainly not me, but yeah, they had a great season, lost in the Super Bowl, and yeah, their season was so close to being that magical run, but they're gonna have to you know, reload and go back for it again next year. So I don't really know. This could be a potential trade down spot. But I also like them going edge rusher. I don't know if they want to go Mesidor. He's a little bit older, kind of the reason why he's slipping. So I'll have them going Zion Young here at a Mizzou. And then I'll round out my mock draft with the Seahawks, who can afford to take a little bit of an older player because they are the Super Bowl champions. They are just ready to win now and compete. Not that the Patriots aren't, but I'll have them going Akeem Mesidor there. And they're grading my draft. Oh no. Won't download the app. And let's zoom out here so we can kind of just take a look at it all together. Here is my 2026 official mock draft. Super excited to be at the draft tomorrow. We got content coming your way. Obviously, we're going to be vlogging our experience at the draft. And this is my official mock draft. Curtis will do an official mock draft of his own, I believe, unless he already has one. And we're just kind of, as the draft unfolds, be looking at who goes where and who's right, who's wrong between Curtis and I. Obviously, it's tough to make one with no trades because it wouldn't be an NFL draft without trades. At least first round. I mean, certainly more on day 2 and day 3 there are trades. But yeah, here's going to be my official mock draft. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and stay tuned because we got more draft content coming your way. Ooh, here I am in the way. let's just get it out of the way just so you can kind of take a look, pause the screen on my mock draft. Thanks for watching.